All right, let's jump into our composer interview deep dive. Get ready to unlock those secrets and strategies to help you land that dream job.
What's so cool about this deep dive is that we're going super specific, really revealing what those interviewers are looking for.
Yeah, so before we even get to the tough questions, can you just paint a picture for us? What does a composer actually do?
Well, think of a composer like a sonic storyteller. They craft these melodies and harmonies that just evoke emotions, right? Build tension. They can even transport you to different worlds.
Whoa. Okay, that's awesome. So wait, they're not just stuck in a studio all day staring at sheet music.
Definitely not always, yeah. Music notation is their language, of course, but they have to be so adaptable, working with directors and producers and musicians, bringing these musical visions to life. It's a whole team effort.
That is so cool. And speaking of teams, RoleCatcher's AI is pretty cool. It analyzes your resume.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it highlights any skills gaps you might have.
Oh, wow.
For specific composer roles. It's like a personalized coach.
Oh, I love that.
Helping you tailor your resume to each job.
No more guessing games.
Uh-huh.
Okay, are you ready to dive into some interview questions?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, first one from RoleCatcher's Guides. Can you tell us about your music education and background? This one seems pretty basic.
It is. It is, but interviewers aren't just looking for a list of schools you went to or degrees.
Oh.
They want to see that passion shine through. Like, what sparked that love for composing? Was it a teacher, a performance, or maybe a childhood memory full of music?
Oh, that's interesting. Instead of just listing off schools, you could say, my passion for composing was ignited when I saw an orchestra perform live for the first time.
Love it.
The power of the music and the way it moved the audience just captivated me.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. So what kind of sneaky follow-up question could they ask? Because you got to be prepared.
Oh, you could ask, what was a challenging project you worked on during your education? And what did you learn from it? You know, really digs into your problem-solving skills, your ability to learn from setbacks.
Yeah, it's not just about the good stuff.
Right.
Okay, next question. How do you approach composing a new piece of music? This one feels a little bit like they're trying to peek inside your creative brain.
Totally. And there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
What they're looking for is a structured approach to creativity. So, how do you start? Do you start with melody or rhythm, a specific emotion you want to convey? Maybe you find inspiration in visual art or nature.
So it's about showing that you have a method.
Yes.
Even if inspiration is, unpredictable.
You got it. You could say something like, I often start by immersing myself in the world of the project. You know, if it's a film, I study the script and visuals. For a game, I play through early builds.
Oh, I see.
This helps me understand the mood, identify those key emotional moments.
Oh, I love that. It shows you're so thoughtful and intentional about your process. Okay, what if they follow up with, can you describe a time when your initial approach didn't work? How did you adapt?
Ooh, great example. It's all about flexibility, right? Problem solving. You could talk about a time when you had to change direction based on feedback. Or adjust your style to fit the project.
Oh, that's a good one. This is where RoleCatcher's AI-powered feedback could really come in handy, right?
Totally.
You can practice your answers and get personalized insights.
Yeah. It's like having a virtual mentor pointing out areas for improvement.
Okay, next question from RoleCatcher's Guides. How do you handle constructive criticism or feedback on your work? I have a feeling this is not about, getting defensive.
Nope, not at all. Composers have to be open to collaboration.
Oh, okay.
And understand that feedback is so essential for growth.
Right.
This is about maturity and professionalism,
So instead of saying, I hate criticism, you could say, I view feedback as a valuable tool. I appreciate when collaborators provide specific suggestions and always strive to incorporate feedback to elevate the project.
Yeah, that's a great approach.
Okay, cool. What kind of follow-up question could really test someone on this?
They might ask, can you describe a time you received feedback you initially disagreed with? How did you handle it?
Ooh.
Yeah. This digs into your communication skills, your ability to navigate creative differences.
That's a tough one. But it's a great opportunity to show your diplomacy.
Exactly.
Okay. How do you stay current with new music trends and technology?
Yeah.
I mean, this seems crucial in a field that's constantly evolving.
It is. Interviewers want to know if you're passionate about staying ahead of the curve. Experimenting with new software, exploring different genres, following the work of innovative composers. Are you doing all that?
So instead of just saying, I listen to a lot of music. You could mention podcasts, online resources, or even industry events you attend to stay informed.
Perfect. Exactly.
Okay?
You could even name drop a few composers you admire and explain why their work inspires you.
Ooh, okay. I love that. Shows you're engaged in the community. Actively seeking out new ideas. What kind of follow-up question could they ask to test your knowledge?
Oh, they might ask, what's a recent music trend that excites you? And how do you see yourself incorporating it into your work?
That's a good one.
This requires you to actually be familiar with trends
Yeah.
and demonstrate how you can apply them creatively.
Okay, we've covered so much already, but we're not done.
I know.
There are still more questions to unpack. Before we dive into the next set, let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back with more expert insights to help you rock your composer interview.
All right, we're back. Still dissecting those interview questions to help you shine.
Okay, let's do it. Ready for the next challenge?
Hit me.
Okay. RoleCatcher's guides have this question. How do you balance artistic expression with commercial appeal? This feels like a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a delicate balance. But you gotta remember, most composing jobs involve creating music that, serves a purpose, Whether it's for film, a game, or even, a commercial jingle,
Yeah.
you gotta understand the target audience and the project goals.
So it's not just about writing what you personally love.
Right.
It's about, understanding how it will be used and who it's for.
Exactly. You could say, while I'm always driven by my artistic vision, I also understand the importance of crafting music that resonates with the target audience and effectively serves the project's objectives.
Oh, that's good. What if they follow up with something like, can you describe a time when you had to make a creative compromise for commercial reasons?
Ooh, yeah.
How did you approach that?
That's a tough one, but it's a common scenario. So choose an example where you had to adapt your style or incorporate feedback that maybe wasn't your initial preference,
Like adding a more upbeat melody to a scene that you originally envisioned as more somber.
Exactly. Explain how you approached it professionally. Listen to the client's needs. And found that solution that satisfied both the creative and commercial aspects of the project.
Okay, this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI feedback would be helpful, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To practice those tough answers.
Absolutely. The AI can actually tell if your answers are, leaning too far in one direction or the other, to help you refine your responses to be both authentic and commercially savvy.
Cool. Okay, next question. Can you discuss a time when you had to work collaboratively with other musicians or creatives? This feels like, well, this is what composers do, right?
You would think so. But it's important to, really showcase your specific teamwork skills.
Okay.
Remember, interviewers want to see that you can communicate effectively, you respect different perspective, contribute positively to the group.
Okay.
So choose a project where collaboration was key, like working with a band on an album or scoring a film alongside a director.
Okay, yeah. And don't just focus on the successful outcome.
Right.
Like, what were the challenges? How did you navigate disagreements?
Right, exactly.
What did you learn?
Yes. And be ready for those follow-up questions, like, was there ever a time when you had a conflict with a collaborator? How did you resolve it?
Ooh. Okay, so it's a test of your conflict resolution skills.
It is.
Showing you can handle disagreements.
For sure.
And find solutions for the team.
Exactly.
Okay, this next question feels very specific. Can you talk about your experience composing music for video games?
It is industry specific, but even if you haven't scored a video game, you can still showcase relevant skills. Because what they're really asking is, do you understand interactive storytelling? Can you create music that responds dynamically to the player's actions?
Okay, so even if you haven't worked on a video game, you can talk about your ability to create music that builds tension, sets the mood, evokes emotion.
Exactly. You could also mention any experience you have with adaptive scoring techniques, where the music changes based on what's happening in the game.
Wow, that's cool. It's like the music is a character reacting to everything.
Exactly.
Now, what kind of follow-up question could really, throw someone?
They might ask, how would you approach composing music for a specific game genre, like a horror game or a fantasy RPG?
Ooh, wow.
So that tests your versatility, your ability to tailor your music to different worlds and moods.
Okay, let's be real. Deadlines are a reality.
Oh, yeah.
So RoleCatcher's guides have this question. How do you handle tight deadlines and multiple projects simultaneously?
This question is all about showcasing your organizational skills and your ability to work under pressure. So instead of just saying, I'm good at multitasking, walk them through your process.
Okay.
Do you use specific time management techniques? Do you break down large tasks into smaller chunks? Do you prioritize projects based on deadlines? Be specific.
Yeah.
You could say something like, I use a project management system to keep track of all my deadlines and milestones. I also allocate specific time slots for each project and make sure to communicate regularly with clients about progress.
Nice. So organized. What kind of follow-up should we be ready for?
They might ask, can you give an example of a time when a project's scope changed unexpectedly or a deadline was moved up? How did you adapt?
That's a good one.
Right. It forces you to think on your feet
Yeah.
and show how you handle those unexpected challenges.
We just tackled all 10 interview questions from RoleCatcher's guides.
Hmm.
Before we wrap up, let's zoom out a bit and connect this interview prep to the bigger picture of a composing career.
Yeah, for sure. Remember, the career guide composer on RoleCatcher has a section on the pros and cons of this career path. It's important to go in with your eyes wide open, aware of both the rewards and the challenges.
That's a good point. Composing can be incredibly rewarding,
Yes.
but it's not always easy. The guide mentions irregular income,
Right.
the importance of self-promotion,
Yeah.
and the need to hustle for new projects.
Absolutely.
But the guide also highlights that satisfaction, right? Bringing
Yeah.
your music to life,
Yeah.
collaborating, having an impact. And speaking of staying ahead, the guide suggests ways to keep developing your skills, attending workshops, following industry trends, exploring new technologies.
It's so crucial to be a lifelong learner in this field. The more you invest in your development, the more opportunities will open up.
I am feeling inspired. We've covered so much ground, but we're not done yet. We have one final thought-provoking question to leave you with. Stay tuned. And we are back for the grand finale, our composer interview deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground. Those interview questions, career insights from RoleCatcher, and even how AI can give you that boost.
But now, the question that gets to the core of you, the composer.
This is where it gets exciting.
So what unique element would you bring to the world of composing? What's your signature? What makes your music stand out?
Yeah. Like, if your music were a fingerprint, what would make it uniquely yours?
Maybe it's how you blend genres in a way that no one's ever heard before,
Mm-mm.
or you're drawn to unconventional instruments, maybe using everyday objects to create these amazing soundscapes.
Or the themes you explore. Are you passionate about social justice? Fascinated by mythology? Inspired by nature?
Ooh, I like that. So it's about recognizing those elements that make your music different,
Right.
those things only you can bring.
And it's not about, being different just to be different.
Okay.
It's authenticity, letting your true voice come through in your music.
That's what connects with people, makes your music memorable.
Exactly.
So as you prepare for your interview, don't just focus on the technical stuff. Take some time to reflect on what makes you unique.
Yeah.
What's your story? What are you passionate about? What message do you want to share?
Those are great questions to think about.
And RoleCatcher's got your back, right?
Yeah.
From AI resume help to interview practice, they have those resources.
So explore those resources, tap into your unique musical voice, and go out there and compose the career of your dreams.
Best of luck with your interviews, and keep creating amazing music.